Welcome to the Positively You podcast. I'm your host, Jessie Larson, and I'm passionate about helping you shift the way you think so you can create a life you're absolutely obsessed with. Each week, I'll be bringing you a guest or a thought that's going to help you feel more optimistic and equipped to take real action. Get ready to push past limiting beliefs, ditch that negativity, and start showing up as the best and most positive version of you. Girl, let's do this. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Positively You podcast. I'm Jessie, and today I am so excited to have Erica Tanner joining us today. Erica is the co-founder of an awesome business and product and dance class called Dirtylicious Dance Fitness that I am a huge fan of just in my own basement. But Erica, hi, welcome.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here too. So thanks for having me.
All right. So before I gush about you even more, do you want to just introduce yourself very briefly, like who you are, what you're all about?
Totally. So I grew up dancing and I've always loved dance and had a passion for dance myself. And then after college or kind of during college, I got offered to start teaching a dance class at my local gym. And I love dance so much. However, something I don't love about the dance world, and my fellow dancers in the dance world will understand this, it's super competitive and super focused towards like a certain type of dancer, type of woman. And I didn't want that in my dance class. I didn't want to have favorites. I didn't want to have this like special jargon that like only ballerinas understood, or you know what I mean? And so I just wanted to have a class where everybody, no matter their race, no matter their size, no matter their age, no matter anything, can come and be like, sweet, I'm a dancer, I belong here. And so I just started creating this class, and that was over like a decade ago. And in 2019, I joined with Chelsea Curtis, and we together created Dirtylicious Dance Fitness. And honestly, she helped create it to what it is today, because I just did things just kind of by nature. And she's like, no, this is what's important. This is what changed my life, because she wasn't a dancer. So a lot of people would come to me and be like, why is she your partner? Why are you partnering with Chelsea? She's not a dancer. She doesn't know anything. I'm like, that's exactly why I'm partnering with her, because she has strengths that I don't have. I don't want a partner that's exactly like me, you know? And so we created Dirtylicious Dance Fitness, and it's been such a wild ride. We're hitting 3 years this June, and it's just so crazy. And we're so excited that it's where it's at. Obviously you're always like, I want it to be better. I want to reach more people. But honestly, like what we've done so far, I'm so proud of. So
yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Happy almost 3 years.
I know. Thanks.
And I love so much what you said. So we had Chelsea on a couple episodes back. I'll link to it. But about bringing on people who are like your counterpart, your opposite. Exactly. I love so much that you mentioned that, because so often it's like, well, they're not like us. Like, why are we doing stuff? Like, we can learn and grow so much from people who are not like us and who are opposites. Exactly. So total side tangent, but I love that you brought that up.
No, totally. It's so true. Like as a partnership, like I'm not saying it's perfect. There's definitely been a lot of like conflicts or things that we've had to get over, disagreements, whatever. But honestly, like you said, we've learned so much from each other and we've grown so much. And I know our business would not be what it is if it wasn't us doing it together. And I wouldn't choose anybody else, like truthfully. And the funny thing is, we didn't even know each other. Like we had no relationship. We just like dove right into this together. And I'm so grateful it's her. I'm like, what if she was crazy? What if I was crazy? Like we knew nothing about each other. Like I didn't even know her family, her children, like her spouse. Like I knew nothing about her, like literally nothing. So it ended up being good, but
yeah, that's really cool. So how did that come to be then? I'm trying to think of like her story that she said that she went to a dance class.
Yeah. So
she come to one of yours.
Reached out to me first.
Okay.
She, as you know, hosts and puts together women's only dance parties. Mm-hmm. And at the time in 2019, one of her marketing strategies was to reach out to dance fitness instructors. And so she found me on Instagram and started following me. And then she reached out to me and was like, hey, do you want to come to one of my dance parties for free? I'll give you some free dance tickets and all this stuff. And, normally when I got offered things on Instagram, I always like any offer. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Especially now, cause I have my own business that I'm promoting and doing, but I'm like, no, but I was like, wait, a free dance party. I actually like those. Like I'm so in. So, so her marketing strategy worked. I went. And then not only did I go, but because I was going, I naturally like told a bunch of people that were attending my class. There's like 20 or 30 of us that all went to her dance party. So it worked. And her strategy worked. We always laugh about that. And when we were there, we were just dancing, having a good time. And Chelsea said we caught her eye. She was just like, okay, who are these chicks? I need to, well, chicks, I shouldn't say chicks, women. Who are these beautiful women dancing, having a good time? And not only that, she said it was just like our confidence. And I'm not like bragging about my confidence or the confidence that these women that attended my class had, but we just were like, oh, let's go, let's have fun, you know? And so then from that, she's like, where do I take your class? And then she came to my class. Long story short, after attending my class for like, honestly, only a month, she was like, okay, we got to get this out there. We got to get this out to the masses. And I want to do this and I want to be a part of this. And so let's do it. And I was like, who are you? Like, what? I don't even know you. And literally I was like, what? So I grabbed my business mentor, because I was already kind of starting this process of creating our business.
Yeah.
And so I grabbed my business partner. We kind of met with her, made sure she wasn't totally crazy. And then, cause I always say you have to be crazy enough to start a business, cause
that's 100% true.
We're both a little bit crazy, but, and then we went full in. And so I think it was May when she like reached, maybe it was April. I think maybe it was April of 2019 when she was like, hey, like, let's do this. And then our business was like official June of 2019. So
amazing. Well, congratulations. You guys have done phenomenal.
Thank you.
I think I've been secretly watching from the shadows. I think since pretty quickly after you started, there was someone who I think attended a class and I was like, oh,
what is this?
I want to come. I want to feel sexy. And so I love it because it's such this intriguing thing. And even you mentioned, you know, Chelsea caught eye of you and was like, who are these girls? And they're so confident. And I love how you're like, I don't want to brag and say I'm confident, but like, I'm like, no, brag and say you're confident. Like, I think so often it's easy for us to like point out like our flaws and like where we're failing and where we're not doing well. And it's like really uncomfortable for us to be like, no, this is where I'm killing it. I'm like, no, I actually feel really good about myself.
Yeah.
And I love it.
The truth is though, not to interrupt you. No. Yeah. It was super confident then, but like my confidence, I always say this, like, you don't just hit confidence and stay there. It is like literally an ocean. Like you're like, sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up. And that's what I'm like learning, because I just had a baby. And so I'm like, I'm kind of more in that like place where I'm like, I'm working on my confidence always, literally every day, all the time. But sorry, I was like, I was confident. No. Maybe right now I'm not that same place, but that's okay. You know what I mean? I'm working on it every single day. But anyway, go back to what you were saying. Sorry.
Well, that's what I love, is that your mission is to help women and men, everyone, to feel more confident and to feel like, help them feel sexy right now. And it is this process, like you say, like I have ups and downs. I'm like, I can feel confident like 1 minute. And then like later that day, I don't feel it. Like, it's not even like a seasons of life thing. It could be like a moment by moment kind of thing.
Totally.
I love that you shared that, because it is easy to like look at your videos that you post on your Dirtylicious account and like your Dirtylicious on demand and be like, I could never.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, no, you're a work in progress too. And I think that transparency and that vulnerability is awesome.
Yeah. A lot of people. So when Chelsea and I first started Dirtylicious Dance Fitness, I was doing a lot of Facebook lives and different things to kind of get out Dirtylicious. And I'll never forget it, because it was like a big eye opener to me. I did a Facebook live series about my sexuality story and just like how, as like a young girl, I didn't feel comfortable in my body, even though I went to a dance studio and competed and performed all the time, like super, I guess you would put in air quotes, like sexually, but I like myself, like inside, didn't feel that. And so it's kind of funny. I told that whole story, just kind of like my childhood. And then like, even when I was first married in my young 20s and different things like that. And a lot of people reach out to me like, what the heck? I thought you were a sex kitten. You're the owner of Dirtylicious Dance Fitness. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not. That's why I think I like this so much, is because it helps me to be not just more comfortable with it, but to be like proud of it. Like, yes, I am a sexy woman. Yes. Like I am working on this. And so that's why it's just like, I think it's so important for every person to be in tune with that side of themselves, because it's not a shameful thing. It's not a bad thing. it's actually a really great thing. So yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so here for this conversation because I feel the same way. Like, you know, I get that like our sexuality and that is something that is, we're going to get
It's
into
like
the
a
whole
whole
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yes, it's a whole thing. But like we should embrace it because it is a part of us. And I'm, my podcast is the Positively You podcast. That means all parts of you, all facets of you. And that includes your sexuality. And that's something that I've wanted to dive into talking more about because it is important. And when you feel good in that area, and you've said this before when I've talked to you, that it doesn't just stop with the dance class.
No. Yeah.
It oozes into so many areas of your life. I'm curious, like what experiences you've had or either that you've witnessed with women in your classes with that being the case.
Yeah. I can talk about myself and I can share some maybe other stories of other women, but for me personally, I can honestly say it's like, even with the way I dress, like, so when I had, my last son in 2017, I instantly, after I had him, I came back to teaching because I had been taught previously. I put on like the big t-shirt. I'm talking like baggy t-shirts to dance in, like a sports bra underneath, different things like that. And I'll never forget, I was like in my class and I had a t-shirt and a sports bra, little like crop top underneath. And this was when crop tops first started becoming in style at the gym. And I was like, I'm going to freaking take this t-shirt off. And I was like, no. And I had this battle inside my head as I was teaching. And I was like, no, don't do it. No, wait, but I should. I don't know. And then I literally just like threw the t-shirt off, not in like a sexual way. It's not like a stripping class, but I was just like, took it off and I was like, no, I'm going to embrace this. And I'm just going to do it as I am now. Yeah. Maybe I'm not the most confident in my body or how my body is, but I just wore it. And I remember being like, no, I look good and I feel good. And I want to show that on the outside. And like, seriously, so there's been like actual things that you can see changes in you. Right. And I remember some people coming up to me that were like, whoa, now you wear crop tops and you wear sports bras. Like you've changed so much. I'm like, actually, I haven't. I'm the same person inside. I'm the same person. I'm just now wearing a crop top or wearing a sports bra to class. You know what I mean? And that doesn't make me a less than person or whatever. If you think differently of me, then that's on you. And that's your thoughts, that's not me. And I'm not responsible for that. But people would say that to me and it was kind of hard. And I was like, you know what? No, I haven't changed. I'm the same person. If anything, I'm a stronger and more powerful person.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think you have changed, but hi, we're humans. We're always evolving and changing.
Totally,
so like,
totally.
I don't know, like that's such a funny like thing to say to people. Cause it's like,
I had people say that to me. Literally people would message me like, now you're wearing crop tops. I'm like, yep, I am. Do you have a problem with that? Like,
yeah. Well, and like you said, we can get into this whole, like what judgment actually means conversation.
Yeah.
I've been down this rabbit hole of judgment and perception for the last few weeks. So it's like definitely front of mind, but that is not about you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
like we judge people. And I will be the first to admit that I've probably thought those same things about someone being like, now they wear a crop top. And then I'm like, well, wait a second. Is that like, why am I thinking that thought? I'm not responsible for my first thought. I'm responsible for the second.
Yeah.
And then I can be like, is it because I wish that I could? Is it like something, and I'm not going to put that on other women because I don't know what their thought process is, but it is always curious to know that a judgment really isn't on you. It's totally whatever that person is currently dealing with.
Exactly. And we actually at Dirtylicious, we train different people to be Dirtylicious instructors and go and teach Dirtylicious classes in their area. And this is actually something we teach all of our instructors, is always have positive intent. So if you're in a class and someone's in your class and they leave early, you can't be thinking, oh my gosh, they don't like me. They don't like the class I'm teaching. They think I'm so bad. No. Literally like 9:00 at night, if they're leaving, cool. Maybe they have a dentist appointment. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like you have to tell yourself those things. So like, as I'm here and I'm wearing a crop top and I think people are judging me, I can't think like that. You can't even go into it thinking like that. And if someone does say something to you, like, you know what, even if they're really not, you say, maybe they're just jealous of me. Maybe they actually want to be wearing a crop top and feel that they can't because of whatever circumstance they're in, Yeah. And so that exactly what you said is totally true. That's how I was when people would say something to me through DMs or in person. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm choosing to do this. And if you don't like it, sorry, turn the other way. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of a thing. Like the unfollow thing has saved me so much. When people confront me on social media, I'm like, you know what? If you don't like it or if you're not comfortable with it, like you can unfollow me. Like
Yep.
that sounds so like harsh and mean, but it's the truth, like,
Yeah.
sorry,
100%. I 100% agree. Well, and I think that that's why I say the work you're doing, because it is work and you're making a huge difference, is so important, because music and dance and movement is such a fun way to like combat this thought process. It's so much more fun to be in a dance class with like sexy music, like Turn on Ciara, than like laying on a therapist's couch and being like, I don't feel good about myself. Right. And like trying to fix yourself that way. Like, it is a form of therapy, I would say.
Oh, totally. 100%. This is my therapy. Like it's such a like release, like as a mom and getting that like me time, B, I'm like getting actual physical activity, like you said. And then 3, like even sexually, like between my husband and I, like since we started Dirtylicious, like, cause I taught this for like a decade. Right. But like, even since then, like I can honestly say like my husband and my sex life, like is so much stronger, so much better. Like, cause this is my first time having a child and owning and being a business owner of Dirtylicious. And like my pregnancy, like I feel like normally during pregnancy and after pregnancy, I'm like, don't touch me. It's like so different. You know what I mean? I just have a different, I don't know. I think my brain, like you said, I've changed and I feel so much healthier and so much happier and better and more comfortable with who I am, So.
Yes. Oh, I love that you brought that up, because I think when you are taking care of yourself and you're connecting with yourself, like that bleeds in and your sex life is so much better. Like just, because I think a lot of times I'm on Facebook groups all the time, but
like the mom Facebook groups.
Yes, they're so fun.
I love that.
I think it's funny though to like be in these groups and like be like, oh, we're struggling, or like go to these strangers on the internet for advice, when like you just need to connect to yourself more. There's like, we go to these outside sources to fix all areas of our life, not just our sex life. But if you can connect to yourself and take care of yourself, that's where it bleeds into everything else getting better.
Oh, for sure. I'm like literally like I think it's on Schitt's Creek. Moira Rose says, if I learned anything from the safety videos on the airplane, you have to take care of yourself before you take care of your children. You can't put their oxygen mask on before you put on yours. So it's so true. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anybody else, your children, your spouse, your home, anything. Like literally, like the dishes can wait. Like, you know what I mean? Not to say like, don't take care of your children, but you know what I mean? Like you have to take care of yourself,
But don't you? I mean, I know it's true for me. When I am taking care of myself, I take care of my kids way better. My fuse is longer. I don't snap as quick. Like I feel good about myself.
Yep.
And so it's just, and there's so many different ways to practice self-care and to work on yourself and get to know like your ticks and the things that make you you.
Yeah.
But like throw dance in as a tool for that, because it's like some of the work is hard and like soul searching. Like throw in this like fun aspect and watch it. I want to say watch it change your life. It sounds dramatic, but like for real.
But really. Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, there's just so many aspects. Like for me, it's been everything: friendships, relationships, like not just my family, but like friendships, relationships, my body, my thoughts, just everything, literally everything. There's so many like I honestly can't think of things that hasn't affected, you know what I mean, in my life. So I'm so grateful for it. And I love it in my life.
Well, I want to shift gears a little bit and ask you then about kind of like the roller coaster and the ever-changing thing, because you just had a baby.
Yeah.
How old is your baby?
Okay, my baby's let's see, he's 12 weeks today. So I don't know. Yeah, he's 12 weeks, but I don't know, because the dates and the months get off. So he's like almost 3 months. He's like almost 3 months. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So you are in the thick of it then.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that ebb and flow of the confidence and where you're at, because I'm sure you were kind of at like a high before you got pregnant with him.
Oh,
so
totally. Yeah. So honestly, before I got pregnant, again, I hate like saying these things, but I actually don't hate it, because it's the truth. Before I got pregnant with him last spring, so around this time in 2021, I was probably at the best like physical shape of my life. My husband and I had been trying to get pregnant for like 2 years. And so I would just like kept working out, kept doing things. So I was in like super awesome shape. So that when you're in that place, you're naturally feeling so good about yourself. But even in that place, it's important to remember that not everyone is feeling their best. You know what I mean? Like not everybody's like, just because they have like what you think is the ideal body doesn't mean that they're super confident.
Yeah.
And so, but I'll be honest, in that place, I was feeling really good about myself. My business was doing well. Everything was great. You know what I mean? So I was super confident. When I get pregnant, I'm really hard on myself. Like, so with this third pregnancy, because I was aware of it from having two children previously, I was like, okay, I'm going to just be nice to myself. I'm going to be super nice to myself. I'm not going to be hard on myself. Like, and so I was really aware of it, but that doesn't mean I didn't have the thoughts. I would have like these thoughts coming, I'm like, whoa. Cause I hate the beginning part of pregnancy is kind of the worst. Cause you don't have like this cute little bump. And I'm like, who like chooses, like, that's the thing I have problem with society. It's like, so a baby bump's cute, but like a little like roll it on your belly is not cute. So it's like, who decides all
And
this?
then when you're like too pregnant, it's not cute anymore either.
It's like, wait, why? And then it's like, who decides it? Or is it ourselves? Like, who in society is deciding that like an 8-month pregnant belly is cute, but then like at 9 months, it's not, or like, you know what I mean? So anyway, at the beginning of my pregnancy is always a struggle. Cause I'm like, oh gosh, like I don't even look pregnant, but I totally feel it like harder than I've ever felt. But I just try to be really nice to myself in that during my pregnancy. And honestly, that was the healthiest pregnancy I've ever had, just like with my mental and like my thoughts and mindset. But it still had the thoughts, but I would just like, okay, no. I'm literally growing human. I'm so grateful I have this human or inside of me. I'm so grateful I have this body. I'm so grateful that I can even move while I'm pregnant and like different things, you know? And so I just chose gratitude over like the negativity. Post-pregnancy has been really hard because my body has changed more. I feel like even after, just because I think once you have the baby, not that you expect it, but you're like, okay, now I'm back to my body, but like, it's not still your body. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like this weird phase in life. Like, you're like, I don't know, again, society just, I don't know. I think in the being raised, I was born in the 90s, like 1990. And I just think like being raised through that era, like we have this mindset of like, oh my gosh, I got to be like Halle Berry and Julia Roberts and have my baby. And then the next day be like, bing, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's not how it is. And if it is for you, lucky you, but like, honestly, that's just not how it is. Like my doctor literally tells me he told me this, like when I had my first son, he was like, it takes 3 years to fully recover from having a child. 3 years.
I believe
like,
it.
Everything, your hormones, your mental thought, or your mental, like health, like everything. It takes 3 years to seriously recover from having a baby. So it's like, why on month 1 am I like gonna be like, oh my gosh, I gotta get my skinny jeans back on. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's so hard. So that's like the struggle for me, is just my wardrobe isn't fitting or different things like that. And I just have to be so kind to myself. So I think with my past pregnancies, I would like put my jeans back on and just squeeze in and feel so uncomfortable and like hate my body. And this time, because of how aware of my thoughts I'm trying to be, I'm like, you know what, okay, maybe I'm not at where I want to be with my body, but why would I go and squeeze into my previous like pre-pregnancy jeans? I'm just gonna go buy some other ones and I'm gonna wear those for a little bit, or you know what I mean? And like give myself that grace and be like, you know what, I'm gonna wear these as long as I need to. And you know, so I'm like trying to be a little healthier. I just went to Arizona with my little sister, and when we were there, she kept saying to me, she's like, Erica, it's okay. Cause I'm like, oh, do I really want to? And I would say it out loud. Like, oh, why am I buying these? These are like 3 sizes bigger than my normal size. My sister's like, nope, buy them. You like them. They look good on you. And then she like built me up. I'm like, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Like, so sometimes it can't just be you. Like you have to have that support system too, you know, of like people cheering you on, building you up. And so
for sure. And I love the stories because you came home from that trip and this is what triggered this conversation a little bit is you were talking about buying the pants. And I think that that's so funny. Like what a silly, like if we step back and take ourselves out of it, what a silly conversation to have, like your normal size. Like, what does that even mean?
Exactly.
And also whatever store I shop at, I'm a different size in anyway. So like I go to American Eagle because I know that I'm the smallest in those pants. Like, you know, we do dumb things like that because like, for whatever reason, we've given meaning to the number on the tag inside the pants.
Yes. Yes. And
when
like,
that's
something I wish I did like more regularly, is like get the pants. And then like, I wish you could like cut out the tags while you're trying them on and like, no, okay, what feels good? It's what's like feels good on my body, not like what the number is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm like that's kind of something I'm liking right now. Like the styles are like kind of baggier t-shirts and things. I'm like, sweet. Okay. It doesn't really matter if it's a large, extra large, small, medium, whatever it is. It's just like, what like looks good, what feels good. I just want to wear what feels good on me and like makes me feel good. It doesn't matter about the size. And it's hard because it's like, I still struggle with that. I'm like, no, I want to be
Oh
this size
yeah.
instead. But it's like, no. Like forget those things that we put in our brains and just like what feels good right now, what feels good on my body, you know?
It's such a mental game because yeah, I struggle with it too. And I think one big thing that I personally struggle with is comparing myself not to others, but comparing myself to my past self.
Yes,
Like
yes,
I'm like,
yes,
oh, in 2019, I was the leanest I ever was. I was like, blah.
yes,
And I'm like, okay, but it's
yeah.
not 29. Like ugh.
Look what
And we
you've
do that
done.
with,
Look what you've gone through, or look what you're,
mm-hmm.
yeah. And that's something I've been learning a lot too, is like, I always so we started our business in 2019. I remember at the end of the year, I was like, okay, what's my goal for 2020? And I was like, I want to find balance in all things. Like literally that was my goal. Now I'm like, balance is this bullshit is like, literally it's bull crap because it's like, balance isn't real. There's just seasons where I'm like focused on more things than others. And that's okay. If right now your focus isn't on your physical health, because maybe you're focused on your mental health, or maybe you're focused on taking care of somebody in your life, or you're like me right now. I'm literally like teaching this human how to be a human. Like, I'm like,
Right.
this is how you sleep. This is how you eat. This is how you're going to look at people. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm literally teaching him how to be a person. And so my focus is not on everything else. Like, and it's hard
Yeah.
to balance things. You can't, it's literally impossible to multitask and to balance everything. So I'm more focused on one thing, and that's okay, you know, and I have to be okay with that. And so that's where I'm at right now. It's like, I'm like, okay, I'm taking care of myself. I'm taking care of this other baby. That's kind of my focus right now, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I love where like your focus has to be because especially in relating to where you're at in your life right now with just having a baby and the messaging you
Yeah.
received. I'm also
Yeah.
a 90s kid. I was born in 87.
Love that.
And we were just raised with like the tabloids that were like bounce back and slim fat, like,
Not
ugh.
even the tabloids, literally the like teenage magazines. Like I forget
Yeah.
all the names, but I had them all
Oh, I
and
had
would
them
like
all.
buy them like all of them. And it was like the quizzes were saying stuff like that. Like it was like
So
you
bad.
take a quiz on the paper, and I'm like, oh yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. And so it's like, no wonder. But like you said, you just grew a baby for 9 months in your body, which is a freaking
yeah,
miracle. And now
exactly.
you're teaching a human how to be a human.
Yes,
And our biggest concern is that we're not back to where we were for our own body and what we
it's
physically
so
look like to
silly.
others. Like it's
Yes,
insane.
yes, it's so silly. It's so silly. And like in a lot, like that adds more stress to me. So it's just like, okay, I just have to like breathe. What is the most important things? What do I need to do every day? And
Mhm.
I'm going to focus on that, you know, and
Yeah.
putting all my thoughts about not being a certain number is it's silly, but we do it, but it's silly. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So going back to now you've had your kids, your 3 kids and everything.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you ever get lost in that? Or like was Dirtylicious a way for you to kind of find yourself again? I think that that's something that we all struggle with too as well. We get into just like I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm like at the school volunteering all of the time. And so to embrace
Yeah.
that like sexy side of ourselves
Yeah.
feels so far away. Or a common thing that I hear all the time is like, by the end of the night, I'm so touched out. Like no one touched me. I don't even want to do this,
Anything. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how have you combated that, or does Dirtylicious help you combat that?
Truthfully, my dirty teaching and like attending Dirtylicious classes has always been that me time. Like when I'm like I was just recovering for 6 weeks from having my baby, I was missing it so much.
Mm,
Just like that alone time and that time to just like be myself. So yeah, I'm a mother and that's part of my identity, but that's not all of my identity, you know? So
yep.
there's so many different sides, different parts of who makes up Erica Tanner. And I think that's something that maybe the generation above us, like my mom and that generation, they had a little bit of a struggle with, you know? And so
Yeah.
I was super aware of that, like even just when I had my first child. And I was lucky enough to already be teaching a class. So I did have those things for me and hobbies for myself. But I even think fathers and like men today sometimes struggle with that too. They like just have work and like
Yeah.
that's their identity. And it's like, no, you like go find a hobby, go figure something out that you like to do, or try different things. And if Dirtylicious is your thing, awesome. Like that's awesome, but it might not be. And that's okay too, you know? So I just am like, I think because I was raised by a mom who's an amazing mother. I love her so much. She's so talented, but I do feel like her and sometimes the women in that generation, they struggled with that. Like, oh, I'm just a mom. I'm the PTA president. I go to all the meetings. I'm the taxi driver or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, I'm a lot more aware of that because I was raised by a mother like that. And so I'm just like, I love her so much. And she was an amazing mom. She literally is like the one coming down with like a charcuterie board in the 90s, like, hi kids, you know what I mean? And just like brought all the snacks and things. That's amazing. But for me, it's like, I might not be that mom, and that's okay too, because instead of preparing all the snacks or doing all the things, instead I was doing something for myself, and that doesn't make me selfish. That just me, that I'm a different mom, but there's moms that are my age that are like that. So that's okay too. You know,
Yeah.
for me, I'm probably not the mom that's like over the top of like having all the snacks and like everything all prepared and like all the stuff. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off sometimes, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
That's me.
So
That's me.
I'm like, oh crap, we got soccer practice in 5 minutes. Get your cleats on in the car. Let's go. Like
That's
I'm running
me.
around crazy.
I agree with you though, with what you're saying with like the generation. I think there was like such a emphasis on like titles and roles almost like, are you a stay-at-home mom? Are you a homemaker? Are you like, and we had like, and even like when we were growing up, it was like, what do you want to be? And it was like a job you needed or whatever. And I love the idea of like, there's so many things that make up Erica Tanner. There's so many things that make up Jessie. And it's like, I'm just Jessie. And these are things I like, and these are things I do, and the things I'm interested in, but they're not my identity.
Exactly.
Oh, and I think when we can separate that, then it's easier to like lean into each one. Like, okay, like right now I'm full on in mom mode, and I'm going to be in mom mode. And then when I'm like having me time, I'm like, I'm in me time, and I'm not thinking about my to-do list. I'm not thinking about dinner tonight. I am thinking about, you know, either running or like getting a faster mile time or lifting these weights or dancing my little butt off.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes I think at first, when you're first starting to kind of change that mindset, it feels selfish. Cause I've kind of done it like my whole motherhood. I haven't ever really felt that way, but I've had friends and I've had women that have told me like, oh, it feels so selfish to like not be thinking of them, or like when I'm not with them, I feel like I should always be talking about my children, or when I'm not with my spouse, I should always be talking about my spouse. And it's like, no, like you can like separate it. You know what I mean? Just kind of like how like you would separate work. Like, I don't want to take work everywhere with me. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's just, I have to be like, nope. And sometimes as a mom, I have to be like, nope, you know? So just like have those, it's hard, but it's not selfish. It's important, you know? So
yes, 100%, 100%. Okay. So my question for you then is, if I'm listening to this today and I'm like, okay, I hear you. And like, I want to feel that confidence for myself. What's something that I can do today to help me lean more into that confident, sexy side of myself?
Like I said, like if it's Dirtylicious, if it's that, awesome. Like come try out Dirtylicious classes. We have classes all over, online, in person. We're in like Texas and Arizona, Utah, kind of like slowly growing, which is really awesome. But if that's not your thing and dance isn't for you, that's okay. Give it a try first. Kind of like what you would do with your children and trying out foods. If you're a mom, you know how it is. It's like, just try a bite. Just try a bite of Dirtylicious. Okay. Try a little bite. If that's not your thing, that is okay. But find something that you like or that you're passionate about, and maybe that you're not even good at, but something that you like and that you're interested in, and have that hobby. It could be your workout, but it doesn't even have to be your workout. It could be literally your hobby is sitting outside and looking at the beautiful nature. Like, you know what I mean? Like it could be anything. It can be anything. And then you have to schedule it in. I'm huge on scheduling it in, because if you're like, oh yeah, I'll go to a fitness class later, or, oh yeah, I'll do this weekend. It's never going to happen. So you have to set it aside and you have to schedule it in. You have to schedule yourself time. So literally my spouse and I, we sit down and I'm like, hey, he knows now. Like I teach every Tuesday, Thursday night. I probably will until I'm 90 years old with like a cane, but legit, I really will. But with things like that, we schedule things for him too. I'm like, well, what do you want to do on Saturday? Or he's like, oh, this last year is like really been passionate about like riding dirt bikes. So he's like started dirt biking, and I'm like, hey, sweet. Yeah, let's make that happen. And we schedule things out for each other. for our own time and then things together and family stuff. And it sounds like a lot, but it's really helped us when we like set aside the times for all of those things, because they're all equally important. So
I 100% agree with that, with scheduling it in, especially you said we're all moms. We've got like 10,000 things to do.
Oh,
we
totally.
live by our calendars. So put yourself on the calendar. Like we put everything else there, put yourself there and make it happen. I love that tip so much.
And start small. It could be a bath. Your me time could be a bath today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Schedule in a bath at 8:30 p.m. at night. Like, bye, I'm going to take a bath, children, you know?
Yep. Yeah. But like, as long as it's scheduled and intentional and you know that it's for you, like I think the intention behind it is like the key point. Because sometimes I do think that we probably have more alone time than we think we do, but we're not being like intentional with it. So it doesn't feel like alone time.
/ like scrolling Instagram. Yeah. Like that.
We're all guilty. Well, and another thing that I was going to bring up before we end is, you know, we can do this for ourselves, but I think also embracing and encouraging it for other women helps because like you said, is there this invisible society pressure that we have, or like, what's the narrative that we're just living in? And I think if we can like proactively reach out to other people and encourage them to also take their self-care time and to not be like, I don't know, not continuing the conversation about like, are you fitting back into these pants and blah, 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 blah. And like having this conversation that me and you are having wider with more women will help us all feel more confident.
Yeah. I know that when I've shared bits and pieces about my life and my thoughts and my mindset, it's helped me to realize there's more people like me, you know, that feel not to say that you're not an individual or have like, you know, unique in yourself. You are, but we all are struggling a lot of the time with very similar things. And it's comforting and also helpful to talk to other people who are struggling and are in those same places or have been in those same places before, you know, so you can be like, hey, what did you do during that time? Or how was it for you after you had a child, or whatever place you're at in your life? And I think that's super powerful to learn from others, like you said. So
just continue that conversation. And then the last thing I want to just point out was, I think mindset was so key. You brought that up multiple times about the way that you think about it, the way that you think about yourself and giving yourself grace and compassion is probably partnered right up there with confidence. You can't be confident if you don't have compassion.
Yeah. In every Dirtylicious class of mine, you'll probably hear me say this like 100 times. If you ever come to my class, I'm always like, if you have that negative thought, if you're telling yourself you look ugly or that you're not doing this right, or that you're not doing it perfectly, take that thought. And I literally do this every time. I grab the thought out of my brain. And then I say, chuck it in the trash can. And I throw the thought, and it helps me. And the reason I'm saying that is not because of them or my attendees or people that are participating in the class. It's because I have those thoughts too. And so I'm taking the thought and I'm throwing them out. And for me, I'm not like, oh yeah, learn from me. I'm like, no, I'm there. I'm in the trenches with you, girl. Like I'm right here. Let's work on ourselves together, you know? And so that's exactly what I do. I'm like, take your negative thoughts and throw them in the trash can. So that's how I am. Cause it's not that I don't have the thoughts. I'm not like this sex kitten. Like I was saying before, like people said I'm not a sex kitten. I have the negative thoughts too. I just change them or I'm like, turn the road. I don't like that thought. Change it into something else.
Yeah. So, I love it so much. And I truly do love that you are in the trenches with us because, you know, social media is such a magical place where everyone is perfect and and so I love being able to see that you are human. You do have the thoughts, but you also know how to shift and morph into that higher, more confident version of yourself, which gives me and you listening not permission, but the confidence to be able to do that too, to be like, oh, okay. So it's okay that I think this negative thing, I can change it because Erica knows how to change it.
Yeah. You just got to keep it real, just keeping it real. You know what I mean? It's not perfect is boring. Perfect is boring. You know, remember that. Just keep it real. And it's okay to be not in the perfect place or not in the most confident place. Just keep working on it. And, you know, every day's a new chance to better yourself. That's how I
love it. I love it so much. Okay, Erica, Where are you at online? Can people come find you? And how do they get to a Dirtylicious class?
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay. So let's talk about me first. Just kidding.
Okay.
If you want to follow me, my Instagram is Dirtylicious Erica. So just real simple, DIRTYLICIOUS. And then my name's Erica, ERICA. So you can follow me there. And then you can also follow our Dirtylicious Instagram, which is Dirtylicious Dance Fitness. And then we also have a website, and on that website has all of our classes listed. So if you go to that website, dirtyliciousdancefitness.com, and click find a class, you can find classes all over the United States. And we have classes online. And so we also have a free class that you can try out. I'll send you a link to that, Jessie. And so they can sign up and try a class for free, which is a really awesome way to kind of, like I said, dip your toe in Dirtylicious, give it a little taste and see if it's something that you want more of. So yeah.
I love it. Perfect. I love the analogy. Just take a bite.
Just take a bite. I say that about everything. I'm like, just take a bite. Like, you're sitting there with your kids, take a bite, just try
a bite. Yeah. One bite before I lose my.
and then I say to my kids too, I'm like, okay, just lick it. Okay. Just lick it. Just lick the little noodle or whatever the flavor is they're trying to say.
But I'm so glad we have the same struggle. Okay. Well, just take a bite of Dirtylicious. Thank you so much.
Maybe that should be our new slogan. Just take a bite.
Take a bite. Instead of it's not as dirty as it sounds. I like.
I love it. Anyway, Jessie just came up with our new slogan. It's fine.
You're welcome.
I'll have to go talk with my business partner on that. How do we feel about this, Chelsea?
She's gonna be like, no. All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Thanks, Jessie.
Thank you for hanging out with me again today. I'm so glad you pressed play. If you want to take a quick second to share this episode with someone you think would love it too, that would be amazing. If you're loving the show, make sure you go and leave a review on iTunes. Reviews are like magic for podcasts, and your review will help get this show into the ears of more amazing women just like you. And come find me over on Instagram. I'm there at positively.jessie, and I cannot wait to hang out with you some more. So until next time, have an amazing week.